following is from a cooperative project for acquiring skills essential to learning.
Hey gamers, I'm just sipping on this KCE teacup I got off of eBay. Also, I have about 3 more being mailed to me currently. The Agency for Instructional Television was a North American non-profit organization operated in Bloomington, Indiana for most of its life. It started in 1962 and ceased operations in 2015. In 2016, the AIT library was purchased by Indiana University, and it can be viewed in its relative entirety for free on the Indiana University Library website. It was initially named the National Instructional Television Library and was ran by NET in New York City. In 1965, they separated from NET, renamed themselves to the National Center for School and College Television, and relocated to Bloomington. They also began operating under the Indiana University Foundation. In 1968, the name was changed to the National Instructional Television Center, and in 1970, they became independent from Indiana University and announced they would be distributing programming to NET again. However, by this time, PBS had just been inaugurated, and so they began working with them. They were also able to get the programs to run on Canadian networks such as TV Ontario and possibly the CBC. On April 11, 1973, they were incorporated into the Agency for Instructional Television. In 1984, they changed slightly to the Agency for Instructional Technology to better reflect the company's other ventures into educational mediums such as computer software and VHS cassettes. However, the organization became less prominent in the education world during the late 80s and early 90s, even being booted off of PBS at one point, meaning they had to make their own network. Their final production was released in 2011, and they closed in 2015. And now, time for the moment you've been waiting for, the logos! We currently don't have any logos from NITL or NCSCT because the whereabouts of the programming from that time is unknown. However, we do know what they used starting in 1968. I call it the Panning NIT, and it was seen from 1968 until 1973. I have a few announcer and background variants.
The following is from NIT, National Instructional Television.
From Exxon Corporation.
The following is from a National Instructional Television series. The series and related materials were developed and supported by 32 educational agencies, with additional support from Exxon Corporation. The following is from a National Instructional Television series. The series and related materials were developed and supported by 32 educational agencies, with additional support from Exxon Corporation. Series and related materials were developed and supported by 32 educational agencies, with additional support from Exxon. From a National Instructional Television series. The series and related materials were developed and supported by 32 educational agencies, with additional support from Exxon Corporation.
For NIT, National Instructional Television, in association with a consortium of 26 educational agencies.
Of NIT, National Instructional Television. Under the supervision of NIT, National Instructional Television. Under the supervision of NIT, National Instructional Television.
I apologize to his cold hand.
This is a pretty sad logo for the time. I guess this was before animated items were commonplace in public television, but look at the NET logos of the time. I don't see why NIT couldn't at least have something more than this, but I digress. When NIT became AIT in 1973, they had a new logo. I call it the Segmented AIT, and it was seen from 1973 until 1979, and again in 1982. It was seen in various forms over various years. I'll play out the ones I have found so far here.
Under the supervision of AIT, Agency for Instructional Television.
Under the supervision of AIT, Agency for Instructional Television.
The following program is from AIT.
Under the supervision of AIT, the Agency for Instructional Television.
Under the supervision of the Agency for Instructional Television.
Better, but not much more interesting. The next logo was seen from 1979 until 1980. I call it the Color and Map. It's known to appear on 2 series. I shall play both of the versions here.
The following is from a cooperative project for acquiring skills essential to learning.
The following cooperative project is supported by state and provincial agencies working through the Agency for Instructional Television.
What? Okay, hold on. What? That was amazing. Why did it take them so long to do something like this? What a quick turnaround. This was the first logo that was discovered from AIT, and lots of people have insulting it, calling it cheesy. Honestly, you can't really ask much for 1979. This is already a pretty stunning logo compared to the previous. Next up, we have the puzzle map, which was seen from 1981 until 1987. I have 2 variants. One is normal, and the other is shortened with a little green chord logo that comes in.
The following has been developed by state and provincial agencies in association with the Agency for Instructional Television. Together, serving education.
A project of state and provincial vocational and technical education agencies in association with the Agency for Instructional Technology and the Center for Occupational Research and Development. Together, serving education.
The following has been developed by state and provincial agencies in association with the Agency for Instructional Technology. Together, serving education.
I like this a lot. The music sounds nice and the visuals are pretty good for the time. This is also the first appearance of the slogan, Together Serving Education, which would become synonymous with the brand. After this, the next logo debuted. It was seen from 1984 until 1987, and I call it Makes You Racist Hey Logo.
The following is from the Agency for Instructional Technology, AIT.
This logo is... The music can be annoying to some, and the animation isn't much to speak about. This would, however, make a great meme. With that out of the way, we have the 1987 logo, which was seen until 1990. Haven't seen that before. I've named it the trailing map, and I have 2 versions. One has both the US and Canada, whilst one has only the US.
The following has been developed by state and provincial education agencies in association with the Agency for Instructional Technology. Together, programming for today's learner.
The following has been developed by state education agencies in association with the Agency for Instructional Technology. Together, programming for today's learner.
Interesting. The music is pretty bleh, with cheesy MIDI sounding instruments, and the animation isn't very special for the time. I could think of some other PBS logos with this very similar aesthetic. In 1990, they used this for a short period. I call it the Sliding AIT, and it was seen for just 1 year. You'll see why when I play it.
The following program is from AIT.
I don't like this logo that much at all. The music has the same cheesy MIDI instruments as the previous logo, and the animation is frankly not special in any right. It's a shame that the last logo was replaced with it. In 1991, AIT rebranded to this design. I call it the Neon Map. From what I know, it was seen until sometime around the early 2010s, judging from the fact that I have seen it in 2000 and the last project was released in 2011. I have the regular version, an early shortened version, and a slogan variant seen in his later years.
A presentation of AIT. A presentation of AIT. A presentation of AIT.
A fitting end to serve for AIT's twilight years. Overall, the agency has had some pretty good logos, which will be remembered by the children who watched them in the 70s and 80s. Even though they had a slow and painful demise in the 90s and 2000s, their legacy will always be remembered by public television enthusiasts in the US and Canada. Thanks for watching this episode of PTLE. Good night, gamers.